This is David Onyemata, and this is the GOAT, Tom Brady. Only a handful of years earlier, the Nigerian-born Onyemata didn't know the first thing about American football. He didn't know the rules. Hell, he had no idea how to strap on a helmet or get into a stance. So how did he get to sack the greatest quarterback who ever played?
Nobody had a crystal ball knowing he was going to turn into something.
Under siege, and down he goes.
David was beyond raw. Doesn't know the rules of the game. Doesn't even know what a stance is. Okay, here's Coach Dobie with his newest experiment.
Onyemata was in there first.
What were your impressions of him the more you spoke to him about this experiment you were willing to take him down?
He didn't really know what this was about. He came to my office to join a club.
I think it took a lot of people off guard.
It'd be short-lived, drop in the bucket.
Is this a joke? I quickly started to eat my words.
He was not afraid of adventure.
David Onyemata, raw but intriguing.
Not afraid to find his way.
Didn't play football until he arrived at Manitoba from Lagos, Nigerian.
These things never work. But maybe this time.
NFL players come in all kinds of shapes and sizes, each with their own unique stories. But few have ever been as unlikely as the player the Falcons added this offseason to help put their defensive line over the top.
To us here in Atlanta, our goal is to have the most violent, physical defensive lines in football.
That's David. He is violent. He's disruptive.
Under pressure, and this time it's David Onyemata.
When David gets on the football field, he understands who he is.
He's one of the better players in the NFL at his position. To start where he started and end up where he is, his story is so unique.
I lived in Nigeria till it was 2011. I'm the last kid out of 6. Grew up there, went to high school, did the basic things. Played soccer, I guess that's kind of where most of my athletic traits come from. It was a great childhood. Once I was done high school, the plan was to go out the country for the university degrees. I'm gonna get things going. Canada ended up being a choice. I started the university life and I was looking for something to get involved in. I'll probably just go knock on the door and give football a try.
That door opened the way to a Bison's football program that had a history of developing raw prospects into legitimate pros, including a former standout Chicago Bears defensive lineman.
That is Israel Adonijah, starting defensive end. He was born in Lagos, Nigeria, grew up in Brandon, Manitoba.
I was in my office. I'm talking on the phone. I hear a faint knock on my door.
He looked straight at me. He asked what he could, what I was looking for.
He looked like a prototypical NFL defensive tackle. How do I not know him?
You get done classes, and for me, I was looking for something just to kill some time.
Quickly found out, to my absolute disappointment, that he knew nothing about football.
I thought you just went out there and just ran and chased whoever had the ball. Like that was my ideology to the game.
So we made a deal with him. I would give him 1 week.
I still didn't know what I was getting myself into.
First time I met him, he was in the corner of the end zone.
At first, I was a little bit frustrated. This is university football. This is the highest level. I took the game very, very serious.
Our head coach is in the end zone dealing with one football player, and then there's 120 of us trying to actually play football. What is happening here?
When David first walked onto our practice field, we talked about, wow, he would be an incredible offensive lineman. But David was beyond raw. We were shocked to see how this kid moved. So we'd segue over to D-line. We'd had that experience with Israel.
He's hit hard. Adonijah was there.
We did see the parallels. Shame on us if we can't turn this kid into some kind of football player.
In the early days, it was a lot of the very basic stuff, like this is a helmet, this is how we buckle it up.
He did a lot more observing.
It was a whole lot of silence. I didn't know if he spoke English, so I was wondering if he was comprehending what I was showing him.
You're not only dealing with the sport, but you're also dealing with the culture shock of living in Winnipeg.
It's raining and we're out there. David didn't show up.
It was raining. Like, I didn't know you guys practice in the rain.
Do people go out in the rain in Nigeria? Yes, coach. They do here too. You need to get down here.
He overcame that pretty quick, and he was there every single day, regardless of the circumstances.
He just bought in. He wanted it.
You know, the perseverance, the dedication, and then actually getting better. It's hard to not want to help be a part of that solution.
To see the progression in no less than a year, to him being able to be in live game action was hard to believe, but it was also exciting.
It was a little different. You're actually in the heat of the game.
Initially, I'd never seen David angry. He needed to have fire in him, and that was a big step for him. He's tossing people around. You could see him enjoying it.
Scusinho is brought down by David Onyemata.
He just kept accelerating.
A huge sack by the big fella.
Saw things that he would do, things that I struggled with for about 2 years trying to adjust to. He had it figured out in 1 month.
Within a couple of years, he was essentially unstoppable.
97 doesn't look like he's too easy to move either. They have huge hopes for him.
He said, Stan Pierre, our DC, that kid's gonna play in the CFL. And he said, Brian, I'm telling you, he's gonna play in the NFL.
How much did David's family understand about his pursuit?
Zero.
They didn't really know what was going on. It was just like, all right, you're playing college football.
For him, it was not a big deal. He didn't quite grasp the magnitude.
4 years after that initial knock on the door, David was invited to display his talents in the U.S.
David Onyemata's already got his sack dance down from Canada.
And it would show just how far this experiment could go.
This is a big, physical, violent, tough man.
Was the Canadian wonder there to put a big thump on the quarterback.
I remember the scouts coming back from the East-West really impressed, and that's when I feel like everything started. A lot of people started talking about him at that point.
This kid is unbelievable.
Were you around for his pro day here?
I was.
Tell me about that day.
Circus?
Come on, David.
That was a big day here in Winnipeg for everybody. It was a big day. 2/3 of the NFL was here for the pro day.
Been that many people here for just a single person, like that was mind blowing.
So on pro days are usually half a dozen guys. It's just you today.
Yeah,
This is really happening. Like he's really gonna get a shot.
And David nailed it. In every test for defensive tackles in the NFL Combine, his results in every category were 1 or 2.
He went from being relatively unknown to, hey, you're gonna be that first Bison drafted, no questions asked.
In 2016, David achieved what was once unthinkable, being selected in the NFL Draft. David played 7 impactful seasons with the New Orleans Saints.
Brought down by Onyemata.
His new deal with Atlanta puts him on pace for the highest career earnings of any U-Sport athlete in history.
You don't have favorites. You try not to have favorites, but the whole story, you feel very blessed to be a part of it, along his journey. And there's still a lot left.
It's exciting to see him play against the biggest names in our sport in the world.
Brady will go down for the 4th time tonight. David Onyemata.
I remember that game.
Seeing where everything started, this basically like the beginning of it.
For the record, he liked the sound of the University of Manitoba and he thought it was kind of cool. It was in the middle of the country. That was your reason for choosing us?
What started as an experiment
You can just see the explosiveness.
created an elite football talent and an unbreakable bond.
You gonna see any of the guys here?
Yes, I'm going out to eat with DJ and his family later on today.
He's a staple in this community, true homegrown, built here.
Holy smokes.
No matter what, he'd always find time to be there for the people he cared about.
We're thrilled to have with us today the 2015-16 Bison Male Athlete of the Year, 2015 U Sports Lineman of the Year, David Onyemata.
Great tomorrow.
The entire hockey and Ukrainian community teammate who was drafted in the 4th round of the 2022 CFL draft.
The whole city and the province is just so proud of him.
Definitely awesome day. Definitely, thank you. Appreciate that.
Obviously, he's like an adopted son.
You are like a role model.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much.
I truly think that we're blessed that Dave chose to come here, and we're truly better for it.
Hey, look, everybody here knows it. He gets drafted in the 4th round. When that happened for him, it happened for every one of us.
What goes through your mind when you flash between sacking Tom Brady or Dak Prescott or whoever else is, and you think about that day you showed up at Coach Dobie's office?
Sometimes I tell myself if I hadn't made that move, where would I have been?
Trust me, bro. I was just trying to make something out of whatever opportunity that was given to me. Just take that approach towards everything, every day.
I've had some of the greatest teammates I could have asked for, and having them actually become family. If I went to a different school, where would I have been? The story would have been completely different.
He's now a Falcon, he's been a Saint, and he's a Bison. All right, David Onyemata.